Middle school students can earn high school credit while they are still middle school students. You can see this section of code in IDAPA Rule 0802-03-104. If you use the QR code, it'll take you to the PDF of an administrative rule, and this section of rule is on page 12. But in essence, to earn high school credit, there are a few things that need to be in place. So first of all, a student must earn a C or higher in the class. The course must meet the same content standards as the high school class. It needs to be taught by a teacher who is certified in the same way that a high school teacher would be, so essentially a high school teacher. And the newest section of this rule states that parents must be notified in advance that the class is offered for high school credit, and they need to be given the option of opting out. And this is where some district policy around this section is helpful. As far as when parents are given the option of opting out, that can happen at the beginning of the course, it can happen at the end of the course. Every district has a little bit of leeway of how they're going to do that, but they need to make sure that parents are notified and given the option of opting out of the credit. Most often this happens with 8th graders who are in Algebra 1. And if your Algebra 1 class is offered for high school credit, you want to make sure that those parents and students know so that that credit doesn't catch them by surprise. Now, there is an exemption to this, and it has to do with the fact that if a course is paid for using Fast Forward funding, it must be transcribed on the student's high school transcript. And that is actually written in the Advanced Opportunities Law. And so in this case, the code, Idaho code actually trumps IDAPA rule. And so in order for us to kind of find some middle ground, this is also why it's very important for the parents and students to read the Fast Forward participation form thoroughly. Because by signing the Fast Forward participation form, parents have opted into the transcription of those credits for their middle school students. So they need to be aware of the risks. They need to be aware of the long-term results of taking high school classes while they are in middle school. It's also very important to note that school districts need to make sure that they have a good tracking mechanism for the Fast Forward forms. We've had instances around the state where, let's say, a middle school student receives a B or a C in the class for a high school level class, and they are now in high school and have ambitions to be a valedictorian, and now that B or C is tainting their transcript. And in an instance where the parent had gone back and said, no, I didn't sign the Fast Forward participation form, even though it was paid for by AO funds, and the school district came back and said, yes, you did, we have record of it. And when they came to show the parent the Fast Forward participation form, they couldn't find it on file. And so really that participation form is there to protect the school district in making sure that parents and students are all aware of the long-term effects of playing in the Fast Forward program. Now, outside of the Fast Forward program, these elements that we talked about related to IDAPA rule apply. So again, the student must earn a C or higher, the course needs to meet all the same standards, and then parents are given the option of opting out. So this is high school credit for middle school students.